welcome back to Otaku Tuesday.
I'm lost. Where am I?
You're in your own house.
Oh,
You should know this.
I probably have early onset dementia.
Yeah, you are slipping ever further into senility. It's okay. I get it.
Well, I know that I like anime.
I'll take care of you. Or at least I'll promise to take care of you, and you won't remember, so I'm safe.
Yeah, I'll call you Deborah.
Okay.
In my senile state of mind.
Yeah. Isn't that your mom's name?
Yeah.
That's getting a little weird. Okay, what did we do? We taught Makina how to shoot.
Yeah, we've been teaching her
how
to
shoot.
fight with swords and shoot.
Yeah, it's like got a ghillie suit and an airsoft sniper rifle and...
Right. We're toughening her up. We're
Yeah.
also,
Why?
I don't know, we're just beefing her up.
Okay, we're beefing.
Mm-hmm. Got beef, bro.
What are we doing? We're back in... This is their room. This is her room.
This is her room.
Yeah, but isn't her room connected to Amine's room? No?
Yeah, I thought this was her room. I thought she just lived here with them. Her.
I don't remember. I don't remember what their whole setup is.
That's all Makina's stuff.
Yeah, this is Makina's room. I just don't know if they have like a double. You never see like her, like Amine's room.
I can't remember.
Hamburger.
For some reason, I was under the impression that they share a room.
Yeah, I was too.
So they must, maybe.
Okay. Come on, Makina. If you're done with supper, hurry up and take your bath, all right? I'll be there in just a minute, so go ahead and get in.
But I still have matzi sticks on my plate. Oh, I got all sunburned in my face.
My sunburn is the exact pattern of ghillie suit leaves.
It looks kind of cool, actually. My face and shoulders hella hurt.
That's what tends to happen when you play outside all day without bothering to put on sunblock.
No, come on. The sunblock just sweats right off even if I put it on, you know. My skin eats it.
Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was wicked sick ooper fun.
Wicked sick, huh? Well, that sounds pretty darn fun. What sort of games were you playing?
Well, we... No, I almost fell for a cunning trap. Don't look at me with those boot-shaped boobs. Yurisu Makina, enlisted with Mihama Academy, school register number 4, born January 13th.
Oh, remember that. Huh? What's this all of a sudden?
Blood type B positive. Papa said not to tell the enemy or interrogators anything but your name, ID number, and DOB.
Interrogators? Look, I wasn't planning to torture it out of you. All right. Just go take your bath already.
Use the feather. Yes, roger that.
For crying out loud.
No, that's no good. I nearly forgot Mr. Duck.
Ugh, okay. The duck's alright, but don't start carrying other toys in there again. Got it?
But he needs his family. Yes. Rubber ducky, you're the one.
Honestly, it's good to see the girl so energetic, but... Alright then. Guess it's time to take a peek in Makina's diary. What? Where'd you put that journal?
It just says, caught you, bitch.
Yeah. She was just scribbling in it a little while ago, so it can't have gotten that far, right? Oh, for crying out loud, she left dirty socks lying down here again. Why are they hard?
Yeah, they're crusty.
How many times do I have to tell her to put them in the damn hamper? And where's that freaking diary anyway? Ugh. Oh, there we go. Nice, I knew it was down here somewhere. Okay, let's see here. Today's date was, there we go. Okay, let's take a look-see. Today I played Purin King with Papa. It was hella fun. Hella. Well, probably one step above hella for her, I guess. But more importantly, what the heck is this?
Got a scale in the back. On a scale of hurla to hella.
Yeah. Is this thing supposed to be the Pura King? Purin, as in custard pudding?
Pudding man.
I'm the Pudding King.
I'm Pudding King.
I want to be the Lord and Master of the Pudding Realm.
I just figure he's jiggly,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
His Royal Highness Purin King.
What? Seriously? What the heck is this? First Tray Tan, now Pudding King? I mean, I don't know. I don't know anymore. What on earth is that girl doing with Yuuji?
I fell off a cliff and now I'm suddenly king of the puddings. Traitan and Piran King were the best of friends. They spent many carefree days playing together in a deep dark forest rumored to be haunted by goblins. One day, Tuna Fish Man abruptly appeared before them. While vigorously disemboweling himself with a gleaming knife, he spoke thus.
Toro!
It seems Amane was tormented by this remarkably surreal dream, ultimately leaping to her feet and yelling, "What the hell now?" to no one in particular, a sad tale, although I fail to see why she complained to me the next morning. Okay.
All right, then.
Elderly people are fond of the phrase experience as much as you can while you're young, but it's apparently somewhat rare for youngsters to genuinely understand these words, because they're so dumb. Something of a special case.
Because I'm cool.
I've seen much more than most people my age. Hell, I think I'm on the world-weary side of things. But even so, sometimes a small discovery or brief comment will completely overturn what I thought I knew.
Makina's a girl?
Experience is the most valuable form of knowledge, the survivor's greatest prize. Repeatedly experiencing something until you know it inside and out is worthwhile. So is seeking out new experiences and widening your horizons. And this time, Makina opted for the latter. I don't think it's anything more complicated than that.
Okay.
Skibbity toilet, skibbity toilet.
Hey, Makina.
Skibbity Ohio.
Are you sure you don't want to come?
What the Sigma? Yeah, I'm gonna stay with Papa this year. Just this morning, Makina declared that she would be spending her summer vacation in the dorm, rather than accompanying Amane to Kyoto for the second time. Apparently, this last-moment change of plans was announced just as Amane was preparing breakfast today, and came as such a shock that the girl dropped her kitchen knife to the floor dramatically, and it went through her wicker shoes.
Not to beat a dead horse, but why? It's not like you're going to have much fun hanging around with this thing, you know?
Can you not call me a thing to my face, at the very least? Try not to point for emphasis. You've managed to bruise my feelings a bit.
I wasn't pointing at you, I was pointing at your penis.
Well, being with Papa's penis is the single biggest reason. Okay, never mind. Scratch that. But there's also my part-time job. Watering the apple seedling. And looking after my crawfish that's totally alive and stuff.
Oh, good. They do still acknowledge its existence.
I experienced Kyoto last year. So this time I'm gonna have my first summer with Papa.
I'm sure it'll all be completely innocent. Will this really be alright? What are you gonna do about your meals and all that? Beans!
Not to worry, I got my bed-breaking bacon machine. All you can eat baked goods at our fingertips.
Baked goods and baked beans.
Whoa.
Just bread isn't good enough, alright? You need nutritionally balanced meals. Jeez, maybe I should make some snacks with a long shelf life before I go?
That'll be fine. I'm gonna take care of the cooking.
Right. But can you really make decent meals either? I've got this mental image of you eating nothing but beans.
That's exactly
That would
right.
be a correct mental image.
Just gonna go away for a summer and Maki's not gonna be recognizable when she comes back.
Just full of beans?
I mean, she's gonna be a completely different person with Yuuji changing
Yeah.
her mind.
That's true.
Not to worry, I'll get some pumpkins in there as well. A human being won't die as long as they've got beans and pumpkins to eat.
It's good to know.
Oh, don't forget the baked goods. Ooh, maybe I'll try making some pumpkin bread. Nice. Sounds delicious, am I right?
I'm kind of worried. If Makina's not coming, maybe I'll just stay too. Make sure you two don't do anything.
Come on, it's gonna be fine. I can do what needs to be done, you know. Go take your trip. Bring me back some Yatsuhashi cracknels. With extra crack. Green tea flavor, if you please.
You really do love your tough, crunchy food, don't you?
I'm a traditionalist myself. Give me some of the default cinnamon flavored ones. No frosting.
Yeah, it's a taste you can see. I'll buy your souvenirs. But in return, you better finish your homework, Makina.
Yes!
Yuuji, make sure she does that homework, alright?
Yes.
Do you two really get the message? Even if I'm gone, you can't just play around all the time, okay?
No, don't talk about being gone, Amani. You gotta come back, okay? If you don't come back to me, I'll track you down, and no matter how far you go.
I'm really good at sniping things now.
Stop talking like a stalker.
I'm a sniper.
I'll be back soon enough, okay?
No need to drag out the farewells, then. The Yokohama Shinkansen leaves at 8:50, right? You're gonna miss the train unless you get a move on.
Okay then. Guess I'll be on my way and out of this route.
Very well. Makina, we will now send off Amane on her journey to the capital with 3 hearty cheers. You betcha! Congratulations on your departure, Miss Suo Amane! Banzai! Banzai! Banzai!
Cut it out. I don't even like trees. That's really embarrassing, okay?
And so, Amane finally turns and runs up the stairs towards the station's ticket gate, fleeing our largely meaningless farewell salute.
Where did she get that hot dog?
While I certainly appreciated the value of Amane's contribution to our well-being, I assumed her temporary absence wouldn't have any particularly serious effects on our lives.
Because I'm an idiot.
But I was wrong. To be honest, that casual attitude was partly the product of stubborn pride. I got along just fine by myself before, didn't I? But once the woman was actually gone, it didn't take 30 minutes for the first problems to begin surfacing.
I'm bored.
Hey,
Oh,
Makina,
God.
how old are the eggs in this fridge? No, what you asking me for? I ain't the one who laid them.
Are you sure?
I would hope not.
It ain't that kind of anime.
They ain't gonna go bad in 2 or 3 days. And Amane's always putting new ones in the back. So the ones closer to the front should be fine. Herb. I see. Plus, isn't there like, I don't know, an expiration date on the carton?
It might be like just a tray.
Just a tray of eggs, yeah. More importantly, we're nearly out of toilet paper. Where's the spare rolls at? I gotta wipe my gooch.
I got beans.
That's not gonna help my gooch.
If anything, that's the problem.
Where was it again? I do remember buying her some, so we should have plenty in stock. Amane's the type to hoard this sort of stuff. It's probably squirreled away somewhere, you know. Just get Sachi to be the caretaker.
Right? She will get everything.
I mean, she was your
She
personal
agreed
maid.
to be the maid, yeah.
Like,
But doesn't she leave for the summer too?
oh, she might
Because
have.
she goes to her uncle's or something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I think that's what she said.
I don't see anywhere to hoard things in this room. Maybe she stashed it under the stairs? You know, like a little room across the hall? AKA Amane Warehouse.
You're gonna like the way you boob. I guarantee it.
Amane Warehouse. Amane's got a habit of buying up whatever they got on sale at the supermarket. Tossing them in her warehouse. Tissues, toilet paper, canned food, condoms, all that sort of stuff. Gotta be 50 liters of bottled water in there by now, you know?
It's almost like she had some kind of traumatic experience where she didn't have the supplies she needed.
Sounds like a pretty decent little emergency stockpile. Girl's fundamentally the parsimonious type. Give her a box of cookies and she'll save the ribbon and wrapping paper.
It's like that one cartoon from Tiny Toons. I think it was Tiny Toons. Might have just been Looney Tunes. Where it's like the Christmas wrapping paper, and it's like all nice and fancy, and then someone like opens their gift with it, and it floats, and they throw it away, and then it floats out, and then you follow it, and it's all like sad and raining, but then like a little homeless girl finds it, and she loves it and keeps it. It's sad. I think it was Tiny Toons.
Oh, speaking of penny pinching, that reminds me, gotta pinch my pennies. Makina promptly sticks her head into the fridge and starts rooting around in search of something. Ah, there we go. I knew this was in here. What is that supposed to be?
It's that sandwich I've been working on eating for like 3 years.
It's Majara mayonnaise. The semi-transparent Tupperware container in Makina's hand has stuffed to the brim with yellowish powdery substance.
I mix all my fun dip.
Remember when Amani made that pumpkin soup the other day? This is the leftover skin and pulp from when she juiced that sucker.
I was gonna stick my penis in it.
Your what? Seriously, who bothers to save that stuff? What do you think you're calling that stuff, bub? Pumpkin skin is the most nutritional part of the whole darn thing. How could you even think of throwing it away? I see. My apologies. But what are you planning to use it for? I'm gonna snarf it. Naturally, I'm gonna knead it into some dough and make pumpkin bread. Let's have that for lunch, okay? Also, I'm craving some cinnamon rolls. Let's make those too. I see. Talking about Yatsuhashi gets you in the... Talking about Yatsusashi get you in the mood for something with cinnamon? Oh, I see.
Yeah, talking about Yatsuhasi get you in the mood.
You betcha it does. Okay then, let's get started on that dough. Hold on, Makina. Take a look at the clock. No, 9 o'clock, eh?
9 in the afternoon?
Maybe Amani's on the bullet train by now. Mayhaps yourself. Look at the other wall.
Are we practicing that left face, right face thing?
Wrong. I point to a large piece of paper hanging on the wall. The words, Summer Vacation Schedule, scrawled across the top in Makina's handwriting.
What's this? Schedule? Some type of textile?
Playing dumb isn't much good when you're the one who wrote the damn thing. 9 in the morning is homework time, right?
Look, this homework is just stuff Amani decided to make me do on her own, you know. It's not like the school gave me any.
True enough, and Amane's not around, so I guess it's all good.
All right.
Were you seriously expecting me to say that, idiot?
Oh, come on now. Ain't no cause to fly off the handle.
If you're thinking I'm going to be a soft touch compared to Amane, you've got another thing coming. You decided the schedule yourself, so I want to see you at least pretending to follow it.
Just pretending's enough?
Not like you'll learn anything if I force you to study when you don't want to. But at the very least, make yourself sit in front of your desk at a set time every day. Pretend to study. Once that becomes a habit, your brain will start waking up all on its own when the time comes. You'll be able to focus intently and get a great deal done in a short time.
Really?
No.
There's no point in trudging along through your textbooks for hours on end. 1 hour is just about right for a study session. Give it a try and you'll see.
Somehow I feel like you're trying to pull one over on me here.
Set aside a specific time every day for focused, undistracted study. I learned that simple technique from my big sister. Apart from her school subjects, she could consistently produce outstanding results in virtually anything with nothing more than an hour or so of daily review. And once I adopted her study method, I managed to maintain a fairly respectable academic standing in my own right. When you get used to studying in brief chunks, you naturally start challenging yourself, pushing to see how far you can get with the limited time you have. Sometimes you'll look back after the hour's finished and be stunned at how much you accomplished. Nap time.
Right?
And so, starting off with a quintessentially Japanese just-for-show attitude, Makina sits before her homework problems and pretends to ponder them. But as her style of pretending is pretty superficial, it amounts to little more than a childish parody of real studying. Her pen doesn't move an inch.
You're getting further away from it. Kinda close.
Just moaning in a vaguely appropriate way doesn't really count, you know? At least try to use your head.
Should I moan in a vaguely inappropriate way? This pretend business is sort of lamer than I expected.
Realizing that is step one. I mean, the world would be overflowing with geniuses if you could get smarter with no effort, right? Guess it's all for the best, though. Not like a super high IQ does much but make life harder.
I sort of know what you mean. But I feel like geniuses who tell themselves that they are
Probably pretty lonely people. You're talking like you actually know something about this.
Yeah, well, yeah. You probably wouldn't guess it to look at me, but people used to call me a prodigy when I was a kid, you know?
Ah, right. I think I sort of know where you're coming from. People labeled prodigies and geniuses often come off as a little broken in the head.
Yeah,
You're not laughing, huh?
I know someone like that.
At what?
I said I used to be a prodigy, but you're not laughing.
Didn't you hear me? I kind of understand what you mean. I don't have first-hand experience, but my hyper-competent big sister fell into a similar category.
You're just gonna, like, compare all these girls you hook up with to your sister, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. And his master.
Yeah.
Children labeled prodigies have their hands full just meeting the expectations of those around them, and their brilliance earns resentment and jealousy from peers. At best, they end up walled off by their own exceptional status. As my sister often said, I don't remember her voice.
Fuck if I know.
Once they set you apart, you're left with a choice. You can struggle to stay the genius, or you can play the fool and become a clown.
That's what I did.
come to think of it, it's easy to imagine that where my sister chose the former option, Makina went for the latter. You don't have to pretend to be an idiot around me, you know.
Nah, I think you're overestimating me a bit there. To be honest, I've been pretending to be an idiot for so long, I can't even figure out what the real me is anymore. What kind of person do you want me to be, Papa?
A quiet one.
Herm. Guess I like you the way you are. Well, not that I want you to keep acting like a doofus, but there's a lot I like about you right now.
For example?
Oh, let's see. For example, the way you're earnest and proactive about everything. The way you never give up on something without even trying. These last few weeks, I've deliberately said some pretty absurd things to Makina, made some unreasonable demands. Sometimes I just stretch it to see how far I can make her go.
Right? She lets me do anything.
Even so, the girl gives everything a try. She's eager to discover new things she can do and willing to work hard at the things she can't yet manage. And when she does succeed at a task she struggled with, she comes running right over to me with her face full of pride, fishing for compliments. At the end of the day, the girl might just want my praise and respect, but it hardly matters. Why, does it? When I pat her on the head and say, "You did well," and see her squint like a contented kitten,
You did it, Goku.
mysteriously enough, I find myself thinking, all right, what should I teach her next? Almost like an affectionate parent. I find that more than a little strange, but I can't deny it makes me happy as well. I'm willing to bet my master felt something similar when she adopted me. Looking at it from that angle, this make-believe game seems almost like a karmic mission pressed on me by fate. It's a slightly creepy thought, but there's also something fulfilling about it. I definitely like having you around, and I think you're cute the way you are. But that doesn't mean I'm okay with you being a clown for the rest of your life. I want to make that clear.
Oh, I was gonna go to clown college.
Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of gotten into the whole clown girl thing that's all over the place. I'm not going to get too much into it, but...
Well, yeah. I get that I can't stay like this forever, you know. I gotta say, though, what's studying gonna do to change things? I mean, why do I even gotta study in the first place?
Let's see. In your case, the fact that you're already pretty comfortable financially might be the biggest problem. The most compelling reason to study is probably when it's a step toward some lucrative future or dream career. I mean, once you've decided what you want to do with your life, reading textbooks isn't exactly crucial. Like, if you're determined to become a pianist, you can focus entirely on studying the piano and ignore the rest. You know, there are books, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, that's something of an extreme example, granted. I mean, who would play the piano? The point is, it doesn't matter so much what you're learning. If you're really determined to become a concert pianist, for example, the piano becomes a lens through which you see everything else. By engrossing yourself in the piano, you can gain a rich, broad understanding of the world, the kind of deep knowledge you'd never pick up from thumbing indifferently through textbooks.
Is that why you always talk about, like, war stuff every time you think about anything? Because it's the lens you view it through?
Yeah.
You have to compare everything, so it should just be like, "Oh man, this show is like a piano."
People can get myopic, of course. The difference between the word specialist and the term idiot savant is the difference between seeing the world through your field and mistaking your field for the world itself.
I'm sorry, what? I fell asleep. I have no idea what you just said. Explain it to me in piano terms. So is that like a C sharp?
Peering through the lens I picked up from my master, I got a pretty decent feel for the way things work out there. And as I learned, every scope you can pick offers its own unique perspective.
You just did it again.
Gazing through your chosen lens helps shape your values and define you as a person.
Can you read this for me?
Hang on, let me get my piano.
Makina, do you have any, I don't know, dreams? Something you want to be when you grow up? That sort of thing?
I want to be the moon. Let's see. Right now, being a baker or a sniper seems pretty cool, I guess. Can I be both?
Yeah, kind of, I guess.
Well, you're not lacking in variety, at least. You've got a vaguely warm world of a baker, soothing people's souls through their taste buds, and a cold sniper tracking a distant target with death in their eyes. When it comes to common ground, I guess they're both occupations requiring a lot of stoic behind-the-scenes effort. While I'm feeling a little dubious about Makina's future planning right now,
As a parent, I should be trying to leave as many paths open to her as possible, and considering my role as her master, I feel obligated not to laugh in her face. That said, what exactly am I supposed to do for her right now? That's a lot less clear. Nobody's explained it to me in tank terms. Glancing down at my watch, I find the dial reading 10 a.m.
You don't want a death spiral like a tank.
All right, that's an hour. We're done studying.
Yeah, but I haven't even started anything yet.
If you're unhappy over wasting an hour of your life, why not use that time a little more productively tomorrow? Keep at it and take baby steps. That's how you form a lasting habit. I turn to the copy of Makina's schedule on the wall. The next block of the day has the words playtime scribbled next to it in sloppy letters. For the rest of the day. Seems we have some recreation next, but I have to say, doesn't the schedule have a great deal of playtime?
No, that's kind of how it is when I get a day off from the store, you know? Anywho, time to play with me.
Again with this. Play what?
Well, what'd you used to play at your old school, Papa?
Probably soccer, because it's always soccer.
I don't think I recall a lot of playing in general. I'd gotten used to a way of life where extracurricular activities were limited to eating and sleeping, so my off days were usually some combination of napping, reading books, and studying.
That's still books. I just slept and then laid a book on my face.
As for the guys around me, it was all cards, ponies, and boats.
Ponies?
The rare outliers were the ones who opted for bikes or motorcycles instead.
Hey, Yuuji, we're going to go to the convention. You want to come? No, thanks. All right, every pony. It's just us today.
And I'm not about to ask the girl ponies or poker. In the first place, I only went to the races or casinos.
Oh, okay.
As in races. Okay.
Okay, ponies. Playing the ponies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good lord.
Yeah, I went brony in my mind as well.
Of course, because we're degenerates.
Forced me to tag along on a group outing.
I've actually never seen that show ever.
Me neither.
I just know the jokes and
have.
things like that through osmosis. Well, you have a daughter.
Yeah.
I technically do too.
She was really into it for a while.
Yeah.
In my old school, you needed to submit an application to leave the grounds on your days off. Without a stamped authorization card, they wouldn't let you take a step outside.
Ooh, kind of sounds like a pain in the ass.
It was indeed. There were a bunch of people who didn't get out much, myself included.
Yeah, you can tell. Yeah, so what? Are you going to spend this whole summer vacation just lounging around the dorm?
Yeah, the GameCube just came out.
Mm-hmm.
That came out in September.
No, I'm planning to visit a grave, for one thing.
Oh, fun. A grave? Whose?
Yours.
My master's in Yamanashi. Need to clean it up and all that.
When are you going?
Haven't decided yet, but sometime before the Bond Festival. Figured I'd set a welcoming fire.
Okay then, let's go today.
Today?
Yeah, I'll start making some boxed lunches right away, and some bread.
To be certain, it seems a little more constructive than hanging around the dorm aimlessly, and I did give Jib advance warning of my plans. It's a little sudden, but I don't see any reason why not. I take my private cell phone from my breast pocket, navigate to the number marked Jib Hardera, and press the call button.
Yes.
The phone rings several times before Jib picks up. Her voice oozes with the bleary displeasure of an overworked plumber, pulled out of bed by a telemarketer. Were you sleeping?
There's been a lot of annoying work lately. I was just taking a little nap. Do you want something?
It's about that trip to Asako's grave. I decided to go today.
Oh, this is pretty abrupt. Didn't I tell you to report in once you figured out the date? With at least 3 days advance warning?
Thing is, when I woke up this morning, Asako was standing at my bedside with a bitterly resentful look on her face, cursing me for not visiting her grave. I burst into tears and said, "You got it all wrong. It's all Jabe's fault." But she didn't seem to buy it.
Come again? Why'd you blame me?
JB, you were just sleeping yourself, right? Tell me, has Asuko's spirit paid you a visit yet?
Hey, cut it out. I hate this sort of thing.
In any case, I've got to visit Asuko's grave ASAP. Please give me permission to leave the prefecture.
Alright. I give you permission. Email me the means of transportation you'll be using and a full schedule itinerary, including any sleep stopovers on the way.
Affirmative.
Please don't tell me you're planning to spend days and days walking there again.
No, this time I'll just be using a conventional public transport.
A hang glider.
Halfway through that sentence, I happen to notice Amane's helmet lying in the corner of the room. Hold on, actually, I think I'll get there on my own power after all.
You're going to run?
No, I'll go by motorbike.
A motorcycle? Whose? Is she hot?
I'm borrowing Amane's. I'm sure she'd be alright with it.
It's going to be a huge headache if you break a traffic law or get in an accident, you know. Please just take the train.
How many times do I have to tell you that I can't stand trains
Well, no, you sit down on them.
with their big smugness?
In that case, I won't give you permission. Or so I'd like to say, but I doubt that would stop you.
I'm glad to see you understand the nature of our situation. Give me the go-ahead.
Give you what? Oh, go ahead. Make sure to email me the license plate, VIN, and compulsory insurance number of the vehicle you're using. Understood?
Got it. I'll send you that before I leave. Alright then. We're going on Amane's Bobataro? Bobataro? That's the name of the bike. Yeah, that's right. Amane did say I could use it anytime, you know?
That does sound like her. She says you know a lot.
I figured I might as well take the chance to ride for the first time in a while. You can jump on the sidecar.
That's the bitch seat.
She did insure the thing properly, right? I don't know.
How does insurance work? I have no idea.
Nobody does. You pay for it.
And then it does nothing?
It does nothing.
You pay for it to prevent you from having to pay more. And then you pay the same amount, but then if you don't have it, you still pay more.
Mm-hmm. The documents would probably be with the vehicle itself, I guess. Let's go take a look. In a book. After finding a motorcycle key engraved with the letter K, among numerous others dangling on a hook by the door inside Amane's room, Makina and I head to the parking lot near the courtyard. Amane does talk about this bike every once in a while, but I've never actually seen her riding the thing.
She's always on a tractor.
In fact, although I've noticed a likely-looking vehicle sitting under a cover in the lot, I've never actually cast eyes on the beast itself. Amane once said, I'm not sure what the name was, but a Kawasaki 250, I guess? So at first I'd pictured some sporty touring model with a parallel twin engine. But then again, Cheesy-Roo described it as a chopper that wouldn't look out of place in an American biker gang. So just what do we really have here? Bracing myself for anything, I tear off the cover dramatically.
It's a moped.
What the hell? And still, the very first words out of my mouth are a simple expression of disbelief. Even before I removed the tarp, I had the feeling something was off. For a general commercial model, the thing was just too short and too long. And indeed, the vehicle under the sheet is no mere motorcycle. It's a genuine hot rod, ridiculously low set, modified so violently that I can't even guess what the original model was. This is ridiculous. Looks like I cut it apart with a blowtorch and saw, then mashed it back together. The rear suspension's ludicrously short. Can't even remember the last time I saw a low rider like this. All my friends know it. Just from a glance, I can tell the frame's been cut at the neck, then elongated with a new weld at a different angle. And the conventional seat rail seems to have chopped off entirely. It's replaced by a small tandem seat sitting demurely on top of a tacked-on flat rear fender. Hell, even the main saddle's been replaced with a cruiser seat. Are we going or not?
This is like best case scenario for you. That's for long trips.
I'd been expecting to find the documents in the storage space under the seat, which clearly doesn't even exist anymore. For a moment I just stare at the hacked-together monstrosity in astonishment. I'm not that familiar with the genre, but I guess it's the sort of motorcycle you'd call old school. I see, this really is the sort of thing you could picture some American biker riding. That said, the delinquents over there are all riding super sports or power cruisers these days. The only people who really appreciate the classic American style anymore are old men with beer bellies and the Japanese.
Duh, but we're Japanese and you're not appreciating it.
Oh, damn it.
No, it's been a while since I've seen this guy.
Tell me, Makina, you have any idea where she stashed the papers?
I'm probably there. Not like there's anywhere else you could put them, really.
Makina points out an inconspicuous leather tool bag hanging off the side of the motorcycle, secured at the fastener with a small padlock. Ah, right. There'd been a small key I couldn't identify on the same ring as the motorcycle key. Guess that must be for the bag. Oh, let's see. The papers are... Oh, there we go. You were right. It was in the one spot. After removing the lock, I began rifling through the contents of the cylindrical bag. Sifting through a minor assortment of tools, I discover a sheaf of papers rolled into a plastic tube. Owner, Suo Amane. We've got the VIN, license plate number, compulsory insurance. Looks like it's good through April next year. Damn, she's even got supplementary insurance with the rider covering the passenger. Well, that's just fucking lucky.
Right?
Yeah,
Too bad you're not on it. You're not a driver.
Nominee's got it together with that sort of stuff.
And I doubt you have a biking license. Motorcycle, I don't know how it works in Japan.
Well, that's true. Herm! That was me. I don't know why I said it in her voice. We should learn from her example. Maybe he's just mocking her or something.
Yeah.
Mocking Makina.
He's trying to get her to start saying it right.
Mm-hmm. All right, then. Looks like there won't be any issues using this.
Yeah, I guess so. The only remaining problem is whether it's actually gonna move.
What?
Yeah, it seems like the old man's been a bit out of sorts lately. She hasn't been riding it all these days.
Well, when you chop it up and sew it back together like Frankenstein's monster, hardly surprising the thing might get a little cranky.
It's funny that you call it that because she calls it her Dragula. Okay then, I'll leave Bobotaro. Oh, to you. I'm gonna get started on them lunches.
Indeed, I'll take care of it.
Do you like pizza or nachos for your Lunchable? Pizza.
Yeah, the
That's
nachos
sad.
aren't filling enough.
I can't do cold nachos.
The pizza's gross, though. That bread is awful.
Ooh, I love those. Those little non-breads.
I can't do it. Little non-breads. How dare you? I'm calling every Indian person I know to come beat you up. I don't know any, so you're lucky.
Easy enough to talk big, but what's the deal with this thing? I can't even tell what it used to be before they started hacking away at it.
Oh my god, get over it. Fuck.
Are we taking it or not?
Looking at the papers, it seems like the base was an off-road motorcycle. More precisely, a dual-purpose trail bike that could handle messing around in the dirt. A dirt bike, you might say.
Mm-hmm.
But
Or a
the,
Grom.
but the motor model doesn't match the vehicle type. Did they swap in an engine from a totally different motorcycle? Completely ridiculous. Hell, where do we even put the key into this thing?
The ignition.
There's nothing that looks like an ignition cylinder on the top bridge. After repeatedly looking over both sides of the frame, I finally discover the keyhole's been relocated under the main seat on the right.
You have to put a bunch of trash in the flux capacitor.
Inserting the key, I give it an exploratory half turn to the right.
The jig is up, the news is out, they finally
Dig through the
found-
ditches and
Yeah, there you go.
And in the custom mini meter wedged on the left of the tank, the green neutral light and red oil light blink to life. Battery seems to be alive. I reached out to the right handle and feel around for the starter switches, but they aren't where I expected them to be either. Maybe you shouldn't have guaranteed Jables that you were going to use this vehicle at first.
Yeah. You should probably even make sure it runs before she gets the necessary illegal paperwork.
Looking more carefully at the engine, the self-starter motor seems to have been removed entirely. The hole's plugged up with black rubber stopper. It's a kick? Fighting down a wave of irritation, I look over the right side of the frame and find the kickstart lever. It's unusually shaped, looks custom ordered, probably designed to keep the brake from getting in the way when you're kicking down to start it. Wait, is this thing forward on the left and mid-control on the right? Unbelievable. Guess I should be grateful they didn't throw on a suicide clutch while they were at it. Probably because the rear brake is cable pulling drum type. The pedal's positioned further back compared to the shift lever on the left side. Seems like it'd feel a little weird. I mean, once the thing gets you up to speed, you'll be resting your right foot on the forward peg anyway. But having to move your leg all the way back to get to the brake is even more disconcerting.
Maybe she only brakes with the front. She does stoppies all the time.
Mm-hmm. In any case, let's see how the engine runs. I flip open the cap of the carelessly unlocked tank to find plenty of gasoline inside. And within seconds, I can see volatilizing petroleum shimmering in the summer sunshine. Or gas. Looks as though the fuel's still good. After switching the petcock valve under the tank from off to on, I
Hey,
pull...
babe, you want to switch my pet cock valve to on?
I'll pull the choke plunger on the carburetor halfway out. Only if you pull your... whatever you just said.
Choke clutch?
Your choke clutch
Yeah.
halfway up. Then put my foot on the kickstart and lightly press around the lever in search of a top dead center.
This'll make her come for sure.
The moment I discover the point of greatest resistance, I give it a good hard kick. Oh, well that was easy. Maybe this thing isn't a piece of shit.
Right?
Considering how long the vehicle's just been sitting here neglected, the motorcycle starts up so easily that it actually feels like a bit of an anticlimax. A vehicle that heavily customized is normally a bit more ornery.
I mean, it's a 250cc dirt bike engine, so I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Was Amane actually keeping this thing maintained all the time? It's been sitting here?
The four-wheeler that I smashed into a tree was a 450?
Okay.
No, it might have been a 250, actually. Yeah, it had to have been a 250, because it wasn't that big of a four-wheeler.
Just as I'm feeling a good bit of admiration for its owner, there's a strange little sneeze from the motorcycle's exhaust pipe, and its vigorously idling engine abruptly stalls. Whoops. Well, figured it wouldn't be easy. I give the kick pedal another vigorous step, but this time it doesn't even cough. There's no sign of the ignition even engaging. You've got to be kidding me, right? Battered by the blazing summer sun, lukewarm sweat trickling heavily down my forehead, I mash down on the kick lever again and again. Okay, I'll take the train.
Yeah.
The neutral light's still on, so the electronics are still functioning. The battery is a small motherfucker type designed to power mopeds and scooters, but with a kickstart that should be more than enough. Even though the electrical system's fine, we're not getting a spark, and the engine did start once, just a minute ago, which would mean $10 says the Philips CDI's on the fritz.
With the what?
Capacitor discharge ignition, or CDI for short. It's a generic term for an electronic device that controls the ignition of an engine. Among the extremely simple mechanical parts of a typical motorcycle engine, it stands out as a comparatively advanced piece of electronics. That's right, I know about motorcycles as well, and I'm going to tell you guys all about them.
Because I have a penis.
Because of that complexity, it's not uncommon for it to malfunction, especially given its position in a rough environment of high heat and constant vibration. Sometimes it'll abruptly stop working entirely. Damn it, where's the CDI? Peering under the tank, I find the ignition coil and follow it along the harness. No, that's the turn signal relay, and this is the headlight booster relay. Okay, what's with this thing? Or what is this thing? What's the fuse box? The fuse isn't blown. God damn it, it's hot. A black puddle of sweat forms on the ground beside me as I squat next to the bike. CDI, CDI, where's the goddamn CDI? After a good 10 minutes of groping along the harness, I finally notice an inconspicuous slide cover just below the seat on the left side. After removing it, I discover a square black object sitting next to the regulator rectifier. Found it! There you are, you little bastard! Carefully removing the coupler connecting the CDI to the harness, I intensively scrutinize the little black box, but there's no visual evidence of it being damaged. Oh, this is like when they were describing the glider.
Mm-hmm. It's like, who cares?
Then again,
We get it, writers. You looked up how a motorcycle works.
Then again, it's not exactly the sort of part you can reliably assess by eyeballing. Reaching my thumb around behind the plastic cover, I gently rub the electronic guts of the unit through their protective coat of epoxy resin. When the CDI is keeping your engine from starting, this will often be enough to bring it back to life. Of course, that's really just a temporary stopgap measure, not a resolution of the fundamental problem. But if this does get the engine firing again, that would confirm the CDI as responsible. Attaching the freshly massaged piece of electronics to its coupler, I press down firmly on the kick pedal once more. I told you so, asshole! Who am I talking to? Really was the CDI. Hand over that 10. as I vent my spleen on some vaguely defined imaginary foe. Amine's motorcycle, Bobotaro, springs easily back to life and proceeds to rumble pleasantly away underneath me. Oh, it feels nice on my nuts. Have to say, though, this thing is pretty noisy. Probably because I'm, like, in a small parking garage.
Yeah.
I'll take this sort of growling over high-pitched shrieking any day, but if I got this thing going and drove past some elementary school, it'd definitely be loud enough to get the kids grimacing and covering their ears with their hands.
Pussies.
Oh well, guess I'll have some stuff to stuff some steel wool or something in the exhaust pipe and quiet it down.
Or you could just, like, not fuck with her bike.
Right. Just take the train.
Yeah.
I just watch over the thing as it idles for a while, but the engine doesn't seem inclined to sputter off again. Maybe the CDI itself wasn't the issue. The contact with the coupler may just have been off.
I mean, if you just let it run, then it's not going to use the starter again, so how the fuck would you know? It's just running. You're just wasting gas. There it is.
Temporarily stopping the engine, I check the oil and lights, then move on to testing the front and rear brakes. All good. But when I finally get around to looking at the air pressure on the tires... Christ, are you serious? It's got a damn flat. Am I gonna have to change a tire in this absurd heat? Cut me a damn brake already. Fine, I'll take the train. It's too much. I could have been halfway there by now.
I'm not going now.
Sighing heavily, I lean my head back and gaze up to the sky. Within seconds, I can feel the tip of my nose scorching under the blazing sunlight.
Finally get it going after like 4 hours. Go inside and Makina's asleep in a sandwich.
I'm sorely tempted to just say screw it, but after all this effort, giving up and going by train would be seriously galling in its own right. This right here might take some time. Muttering an excuse to no one in particular, I decide to temporarily return to my room and rehydrate myself. With a nice refreshing cool blue Powerade.
Delicious.
For a moment, I'm seriously tempted to take the wheel off entirely and lug it back to my bathroom to patch up. But fortunately, it doesn't prove to be anything quite that serious. When I start pumping air back into the tire, it inflates back up normally, and the pancake on the bottom disappears completely in a matter of minutes. Why was there a pancake there in the first place? Why does that tube tires always manage to lose air just sitting in a parking lot? While this minor mystery nags at me somewhat, by the time 11 rolls around, we've successfully readied everything we need for our trip. Everything okay in here? Look.
You are just drenched in sweat.
All right. Are all preparations for departure complete?
No, you need a shower.
Yeah, I am not wrapping my arms around you.
Yeah, gross. Back sweat.
Boxed lunches prepared. Cell phone fully charged. Drinking water secured. Health insurance cards at the ready. We are good to go, sir.
Excellent. The time is currently 1100 hours. We're beginning the operation. All personnel embark.
Yoo-hoo-ah!
Straddling Bobotaro, like a bold general swinging onto his warhorse, I deposit Makina in the tandem seat and make her firmly grab hold of my shoulders. And then kick the bike into first gear with the tip of my left foot, slowly squeeze the clutch lever to the handle.
I have to pee.
God damn it! Looks like it's going to be another hot one. You put on sunscreen, right?
Look at my turtle. Turtle, turtle.
Sounds like she's in like a
They've
walkie-talkie.
they've probably got earpieces or something. The helmets. They have helmets
Yeah.
that have like speaker systems and shit.
Yeah, you betcha. And I made sure to bring along the bottle along so I can recoat too.
As we begin to leisurely putter along the coastal road in the direction of Yamanashi Prefecture, Maki and I talk through the two-way FM radio we used for our sniper games.
No, okay.
Now hooked up to throat mics for hands-free operation.
I have a question. Did you buy that vest just for today?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a dirt bike that she fucking like lowered in the back and raised in the front to make it look like a fucking chopper.
You're a pretty good driver, Papa, aren't you? I don't think this is any scarier than riding behind Omni. You're not really going too fast either.
This is as fast as it goes. There's two of us on this tiny thing.
You think? I mean, what kind of an idiot would start roaring around on a bike like this? If a tire loses a little air, your levers will be dragging along the ground. A low center of gravity is nice, but this is ridiculous. Never driven a motorcycle this bizarrely low to the ground before, but just leisurely gliding along in the wake of the car ahead doesn't feel half bad. That said, I can't help thinking its overall lack of power and weak maneuverability is going to be an issue once we get on these steep mountain roads.
Mountain roads, take me home.
Well, let's just take it slow and easy.
To a place. You and Amini are so lucky, Papa. You got licenses, so you can go wherever you want. Like this.
You're old enough to have a license yourself, Makina. Why don't you just take the test?
They can't reach the pedals. I said the same thing to Amini once, you know? Told her I wanted to get a license, and she's all, don't do that, it's too dangerous. If it's so friggin' dangerous, how come she does it, you know? What a typical hypocrite.
Well, I guess I could sort of understand how she feels. It's easy to picture Makina hopping on a moped or something, shouting,
Okay then, I'm off to play.
And it just burst into flames.
tottering off into the distance. At which point you'd be sitting by the phone biting your nails, waiting for a call from some hospital or the police. But when you snatch away something from a child and tell them it's dangerous, they'll go to any lengths to play with it behind your back.
Yeah, my parents told me my penis was dangerous.
Personally, I feel like it's better just to let them learn under your strict supervision.
And they were right.
Maybe that's a testosterone-infused way of looking at it.
I wonder if I can learn to drive this thing too.
Let's see. The way you balance, turn, and stop are all pretty similar to a bicycle, so I don't think it'd be impossible for you to learn. But unlike Amine, you're short and have stubby legs. Might be a little tricky for you to get the hang of it right now.
No, so that's a no.
For starters, let's stick to practicing on your bicycle. Maybe next time we can try some gymkhana in the parking lot at school.
What's that?
I don't know, I just made that up. It's an ideal game for learning the most fundamental part of operating a two-wheeled vehicle, shifting your body weight while controlling the contact patch and load on your tires. You compete for the best time on an obstacle course.
Sounds kind of fun.
It's not. You'll fall off constantly until you get used to it, you know. I know I did.
Yeah, by the way, Papa, when's the first time you ever rode a motorcycle?
Right now.
When I was 14 or so, I think. Drove around on the private land up in the mountains where I was living with my master. Right, she started me off by making me climb onto this full-size dirt bike she used to ride. My legs weren't even close to reaching the ground. So I'd have to reach up and squeeze the clutch with one foot on the gear shift, and then swing up onto the seat only after the thing started moving. Getting it started wasn't a picnic, but stopping was just as much of a pain. I had a choice between decelerating as much as possible before jumping down onto the brake, or stopping myself manually with a foot against some stone or tree. Looking back on it now, it's pretty impressive that I managed to ride the thing at all.
I'm awesome.
Yeah, what was it like? Were you scared at first?
I'd been riding bicycles for a long time, so I don't remember being particularly scared. After all, I wasn't trying to pull any death-defying stunts. Compared to the terror I experienced previously, it probably didn't even register. Come to think of it, I didn't feel particularly afraid the first time I took my master's place in the field either. Even after finishing the job, returning home, completing my report, when she asked, "Were you scared?" I honestly answered no. Hell, it almost felt like I'd had fun. But when night came and there was nothing left to do but take a bath and go to sleep, I found myself holding my dick over the toilet bowl, completely unable to piss. A small twinge of doubt ran through me. I finally noticed that my hands were shaking.
Wait a second, I'm not peeing, I'm masturbating.
As the tension finally drained out of me. Tension.
Been there.
Like a string removed from a bow.
It's stringy.
I was seized by terror so intense I thought I might never stop shaking. I casually, almost thoughtlessly, slipped by a situation where one wrong step could have meant death. Mixed in with the fear was a wave of thankfulness for my sheer dumb luck. I was fortunate today, but the dice might very well fall differently next time. With that thought, the shaking grew stronger. Even now, I can vividly remember the terror I felt that night.
Are you masturbating in there? No, I'm shaking with terror.
While my penis is in my hand.
Yeah, of course.
But after...
Is that not how you do it?
Shaking in fear?
Yeah.
But after experiencing that fear again and again, I guess you could say I obtained the ability to control those feelings. Or maybe I just gained a nose for danger and the instinct to avoid it. When you get right down to it, I think it might just be a matter of experience and caution. Put in enough hours to develop the foresight to see trouble coming ahead of time, and you'll be completely fine.
It's been 20 minutes since we spoke. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're at greatest risk when you start thinking, I'm on top of my game today, bring it on. Basically, don't get too carried away or you'll end up taking a fall.
Or, like, going, oh man, I hit that jump so perfectly. I bet I could do it again. Oh, there's a tree there.
That pretty much sums up riding a motorcycle. I already explained this with the bicycle last time, but any vehicle's safe enough as long as you stay aware of your surroundings. Give yourself a generous margin for error.
I gotcha. It's just like you told me before, yeah? Go half your comfortable maximum normally, 70% when you're in a rush. If it starts feeling scary, you're already past 80%. Best to just stay at least one step below scary territory, right? Scaratory.
Yeah, you've got the idea. Incidentally, right now I'm going at about half my baseline pace.
How much is that? What's that?
I don't know how much I can trust a mini-meter wedged onto a different company's bike, but roughly 50 kilometers per hour.
Oh, I see. Sorta one step above pick it up Gramps territory.
Given the speed and following distance, even if the guy in front of us spills hot coffee on his pants and smashes into the guardrail, we wouldn't have any problem dealing with the situation.
That's cool, Grandpa. Can we pick up the pace a little? Safety is fastest in the long run, right? Maybe I should try and get a license like you guys after all.
What's it like driving a motorcycle anyway? Posed this question by Makina, I briefly paused to consider.
Do you remember the first day you rode a bicycle?
Ugh. I didn't learn to ride a bike until I was, older than normal to ride a bike. I feel like I was 10.
I think I got my first bike when I was in first grade.
Yeah.
So I would have been 7.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
7 or 8.
I think I did have a bike with training wheels first.
Yeah, I
guess
did. I think mine had training wheels, but it wasn't like a little kid training wheel bike. I was big enough to have like a kid's bike. Just had training wheels. It was like that situation where you have training wheels, but they're not touching unless you start to lean.
Yeah, for some reason I remember the first time I started riding without them.
Yeah.
But I feel like I probably had with at first, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, that's normally the go-to. But yeah, I was probably like 6 or 7 when I got my first bike.
For Mac, it was practically just the other day, so I'm sure she remembers it vividly. The feelings it inspired might not have even faded completely. On the day you learned to ride a bike, the day you pedaled alone down an unfamiliar road for the first time, didn't it feel like the world had suddenly grown larger around you? This world's an endless road that you can take anywhere at all, and that bicycle could carry you much, much further than your weak little legs. That first day, did you ask yourself, just how far can I go? The first day I rode a motorcycle, that open question was replaced with something that felt like an answer. I can go wherever the hell I want.
Across the ocean, anything. Hey, I know this, CG.
That's what a motorcycle is.
No, what?
This is a lettuce patch or cabbage or
Yeah.
well, I don't remember what it was.
It's where she comes out of the ravine.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't get it. Can you give me the abbreviated version?
Ugh.
Bike good, motorcycle better.
Back in 1906.
Oh god.
I don't know. You can go where you want, stop where you want, just ride along with no destination and all if you want. And that's what a motorcycle is. Big bike, go for him.
Yeah, pretty much what I'm saying is life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long.
You condense it so much it's even harder to understand than before.
I consult my watch to discover it's already 1 in the afternoon.
Time to beat Makina for talking back.
As if on cue, Makina begins complaining about her grumbling stomach.
I knew it.
So I pull over at random in a suitable spot and lay out our plastic picnic sheet for a late lunch. The lunch boxes Makina prepared were, as she declared earlier, packed primarily with freshly baked cinnamon rolls and pumpkin bread.
Man, I wish I wasn't gluten intolerant.
According to Makina, making these required comparatively little effort on her part, as the bread machine took care of the primary fermentation. But that said, the taste is nothing to scoff at.
I thought bread took a long time to make,
Could use some beans, though.
right?
I feel like it has to sit there for a while and let the yeast rise and all that crap.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, you have to let the chemistry do the chemistry.
Right. Because my grandparents had a bread maker. I feel like it took like 8 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. The girl claims that anyone with a bread maker and a functional brain could achieve such results. I'm slightly moved to learn that we're living in an era where even amateurs can produce bread of this caliber. But at the same time, I feel as though I've caught a glimpse of dark clouds gathering on the horizon for the bakery industry.
Hey, Papa! See all those short little trees growing over there? Are those grape trees?
Okay, first of all, grapes grow on vines.
The app?
Secondly, those are mulberry trees.
Where the monkey chased the weasel? Wasn't that a bush?
I thought mulberries were a bush.
Mulberry? Is that like the grape's loyal companion?
Yeah, it's like the Watson to its Sherlock.
Not that I know of. Why are you so caught up on grapes anyway?
I have a grape fantasy.
People like grapes.
I mean, we're in Yamanashi, you know? They have the grape festival.
Okay, try not to talk as though Yamanashi's got nothing but grapes to offer the world. The good people of Koshu will give you a swift boot to the rear.
Yeah, why not? They got something other than grapes then?
Peaches.
Peaches, peaches! Papa, I think them Koshu people might end up coming for you first.
You got millions of peaches. Peaches for free.
Peaches for days.
Millions of peaches. Peaches for me.
Wait, no. There's also Hoto soup and those rice cakes with black honey and, don't mess with the valley, okay?
I'm not really messing with anybody, you know? For one thing, I love grapes and peaches.
See, people love grapes.
Although, Okayama's got plenty of that too.
Did you really have to say that last part? You're such a cheeky little brat. Who'd you get that chutzpah from anyway?
Thinking you, Papa.
Oh, right. Well, anyway, that's a mulberry tree. Food for your Bombix Mori.
There you go again with those weird words. Who's Mori?
He's the one who says you are not the father. You're not?
What? What? You don't know about silkworm moths?
Then just say that, you fucking, oh, look how smart I am with my big words. I'm slightly more intelligent than the average person, but I have to make sure that I let everybody know that at all times with everything I say, which totally makes me a cool person and not an asshole.
Now you're getting it. You farm the larvae and make silk from their cocoons. The industry's been around forever, you know.
Silk's made by moth babies?
Moth babies getting into trouble.
Yeah, it's a natural fiber. You didn't know that either?
It's sort of like making a violin bow from the whiskers of a whale?
That is so wrong on many levels. But the strange thing is I can actually understand what you're trying to say somehow.
It's like those precious hamburgers that you get from whale blubber or whale vomit.
Can I go take a little look-see?
Just looking is fine by me, but don't start plucking off fruit. You got that? Also, put your hat on first.
Gotcha!
Do I have to wear the hat? Yes. And she just puts on like a baseball cap that says idiot on it. Fine.
Just like that, Makina darts off into the blazing sun, flapping her outstretched arms like a bird as she rushes over towards the mulberry field. Thanks to her diminutive frame, she looks like a young child heading off to play.
Oh, a monkey just popped me.
The girl shows interest in anything and everything she encounters.
He's chasing a weasel!
When she runs into something she doesn't understand, she immediately asks,
Why?
I think the weasel thinks this is for fun, but I don't think it is. Oh, nope, it wasn't for fun.
In return, I offer what answers I can from my own experience and knowledge. When that fails me, we think it over together. Sometimes hearing Makina's perspective leads me to new insights of my own. I guess this might be what people mean when they say teaching someone means learning from them in return. Come to think of it, it was my own instructor who told me that. The person who taught me everything. Made me want to learn in the first place, not a parent or a teacher. Kusakabe Asako. My master, the woman who single-handedly built me up from nothing. For better or worse, I'm at least 80% the person she made me.
I wish she hadn't have died.
Is that the first
Could have
time?
been 100%.
Is that the first time we heard her full name?
Yeah, I think it's always just been Master or just Asako.
Yeah.
Which was, the Asako thing was only when he was talking to Jables, I think.
Right. That's why I thought it was Jables for so long.
Yeah.
She found a whelp crawling along the bottom of the Valley of Despair, reached down her hand, and pulled it up into the world of human beings. For Asako, picking me up might have been an afterthought, an impulsive spur-of-the-moment decision, not much more than a whim. Even so, if I hadn't met her, I wouldn't be what I am today. Probably would have given up on life outright a long time ago.
Or, been a little more normal.
But Asako was there, on that day, in that moment, centralized entirely in my kitchen.
She took me by the hand, made me her man, that one night. Sorry.
Thanks to her.
It's a The Office reference.
Okay. And the people around her, primarily a certain aggravating, shaggy-headed blonde, I'm standing here today. Completely normal. I'm still living, carrying the final words she left me in my heart.
You stabbed me.
Oh, good. What a good day. What was the point of keeping a piece of trash like me alive? I want an answer to that question. That, more than anything else, is what keeps me going.
You were backup food in case of emergency.
Papa! Papa! Yeah, what's up?
What's up, emergency food?
I saw the mulberry field. There were lots and lots of long-horned beetles.
No kid. Hey, wait a second. What are you eating?
A long-horned beetle. It's a watermelon. See? There's an old farmer lady over there, right? I got it from her, Podna.
She lives in that weird shack that has chicken legs. Oh, God.
Okay, you put a finger in your mouth and stared at the melon with the big wistful eyes, didn't you? Please tell me you at least said thank you.
Yeah, I think that VL something proper.
What? She already picked up some weird snatches of Koshu dialect just from talking with the local for a few minutes. The girl sure adapts quickly. Oh, maybe her brain's just pliable as a piece of putty. I stand beside Makina and bow deeply to the kind farmer. All right then. Seems like we're more than hydrated enough. I think it's time we get back on the road.
Oh, yes! Let's Alonzi on the double! Papa-ray!
You know, your dialect's a little off there.
I don't know, just say words.
Seems like the field's artillery is practicing today. When my ears begin to pick up the air-shaking thunder of the guns in the distance, feels like we finally entered the Yamanashi I know. Among the vehicles we pass on the road, squat medium trucks and high-mobility vehicles, painted khaki, grow increasingly common. At one point, I make eye contact with the commander sticking his head out of the cupola on a passing Type 96, and have to restrain the impulse to salute. I have to say, Makina, for someone who's supposedly so shy around strangers, you're pretty sociable. Although Irisu Makina has firmly established her position as the shy girl at Mihama
Has
Academy.
she?
That's what I'm saying. Like, when has she ever?
She talks more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Domine talks more, but she's like, yeah, she talks to everybody. If anything, I'd say it's what's her face,
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon.
I feel like even right off the bat, she,
yeah, I don't
like,
know.
I mean, maybe she hid behind Amine once. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but
because she's a little kid.
I do remember,
quote-unquote.
like, Amine being like, wow, she really takes to you, and, like, she's never...
Yeah, who has she been shy around?
Yeah, I don't know. From what I've seen, this reputation seems somewhat overblown. In fact, just the other day, I witnessed her impudently sponging chestnut candy off some old couple on a bench outside a sweet shop in the shopping district.
I love sponges.
How rude! You make me sound like some evil con artist, taking advantage of addled old fogies with impaired judgment to nab myself a few bits of candy. That's a good idea. How is it my fault that their car's insurance was about to run out?
Well, you did in fact proceed to munch away at the chestnuts with a dopey look of bliss on your face. There might have been some snorting and snuffling involved.
It's called snarfing. Well, yeah, maybe there was. Maybe I ate those suckers, but they asked me, do you want some? So I just said, yeah, like the honest soul I am. It's not like I was begging for their chestnuts, you know?
Right, so my question is, how exactly are you supposed to be shy again? Grrr. Get off the bike.
It's not like I'll just talk to just anyone, you know. I sort of pick and choose.
Come to think of it, it does seem like you're always targeting kind-looking older people.
They're the easiest to get candy from. Look, can you not put it like that? I mean, not that you're wrong or anything, but...
So I guess elderly people don't seem so scary, is that it?
Well, sorta, unless they're like witches or something. Might just be that I'm more used to them. Yeah, I mean, I was at the hospital for 6 years with a bunch of half-dead geezers for company, you know? I got an eye for geezers by now.
What? So what? Because she spent all that time surrounded by geezers, she never had the chance to pick up the niceties of interacting with people her age, making it awkward to approach them, I guess.
There's two kinds of old people out there. Alive ones and dead ones.
That's what I was gonna say. Suckers and dead people.
The ones who've tasted the sweet and the bitter sides of life, gained the perspective to accept the world for what it is, and eased into tranquil maturity. And the shameless rock-headed geezers who decided their experiences are the only thing that matters, wasting their final years bitterly cursing everyone with different opinions or values. People tend to call the former a kindly elder, and the latter a grumpy old fogey, but anywho, since I was sitting around in the hospital for 6 whole years and all, I'm pretty friggin' confident my ability to pick the good geezers from the rotten ones is on a whole different level.
I see.
So she doesn't have gaydar, she has gilfdar.
Gilfdar. Incidentally, those half-dead geezers from the hospital were also the people who helped me brush up on my Japanese back when I could barely string a sentence together.
You know, I always thought you had something of the crotchety senior citizen about you. Guess that might explain why you sound so much like an old man sometimes.
I don't think you're the one to talk about sounding crotchety, Papa. Heck, the reason I started warming up to you in the first place was because I thought you were kind of like a grandpa.
A grandpa. Well, I do get you don't act much like a kid pretty frequently, but this is a first.
I only say that because I'm pregnant. Well, I don't know. Maybe grandpa ain't the right word, but you're weirdly calm, I guess? And it's like, I don't know, there's something real steady and solid deep down in your core. Like a tough old tree or something. Like a
creamy nougat.
grape tree. Like a samurai tree. A young warrior. That sort of vibe, maybe.
Now that you mention it, there was this one time JB saw me repairing my tools on the weekend and said, "You look like a Ronin making umbrellas."
Yeah, something like that.
True enough, I've never disliked jobs that called for a steady accumulation of sober effort, but I can't say I was expecting a comparison to a masterless swordsman living austerely off his handicrafts. About 2.5 hours have passed since our departure from the dorm.
I feel like 2.5 hours have passed since we
started
this
in
episode.
real time.
Yeah.
We've reached an area I know by sight. No longer even bothering to check the map, I doggedly ride up familiar mountain roads towards our destination. The path begins to narrow steadily. It's still paved, fortunately, but soon it's thin enough to deserve the description of the farm road. If a car were to come in the opposite direction, we wouldn't be able to pass each other by. That said, the odds of us running into traffic are pretty much zero. At this point, all we have ahead of us is one lonely cell phone tower and an iron gate guarding the entrance to the obscure national forest.
National Park girls.
The only people we could possibly run into up here would be maintenance workers for the telecom company, or tourists who took a wrong turn, I guess. I suppose.
Oh my god, it's Elizabeth Doucheku.
My neighbor Botaro labors up the final stretch of road, straining to carry his 2 passengers up the 15-degree slope. 26, that's worth points. His tappets clack beneath us in a constant chorus of complaint. And finally, after passing 3 sets of faded signboards reading authorized personnel only beyond this point, set some 100 meters apart, the Iron's Gate was looking for something and comes into view. We're here, Makina.
Whoopsie doopsie, made a poopsie.
Damn it.
Makina spreads
We
her
were so
legs
close.
wide open to push herself over the tandem seat, lowering herself to the ground in a less than refined fashion. Ah, my bottom screams with agony, or my buttocks bleeding.
Doesn't your butt hurt from the ride? No, over the years my ass was taking a pounding for motorcycle rides.
I started my period. How old are you?
I really need you to, please get an ID so I can check it daily.
The girl rubs her tender rear end through her skirt, twirling around like a dog chasing its own tail. Turning my back on her, I insert my key into the padlock of the hefty iron gate. So is this your mountain, Papa? Well, it's technically the country's mountain. My master and I lived in the cabin up here, managing the land. I mean, if it's part of your property, then it would be your mountain. Where's this cabin? I don't see it. Oh, let's see. I guess it's about a 30-minute walk from here. God, why don't we keep riding the bike then?
I was going to say, if only we had some kind of off-road vehicle.
We gotta walk?
I guess it's set too low to
Maybe,
be an
yeah.
off-road thing now.
I'd like to ride up there myself, but I don't think Bobotaro would handle a rocky slope like this too well. Yeah. Beyond the open gate, a coarse gravel road continues into the mountain, slanting sharply upward at a good 30 degrees or so. Can't we, take a break over that Waffle House or something?
No, we got to take all these steps to High Hrothgar.
Unless you're driving a four-wheeled Jeep or dirt bike with off-road tires, getting a vehicle up this would be pretty tricky. Amane's Bobotaro is a road bike, poorly suited to mountain trails to begin with, and given the ridiculous lowrider remodeling, it'd clearly get its belly stuck in the dirt before climbing 10 meters. Don't tell me we're gonna be climbing a ridiculously steep trail like this for 30 straight minutes!
It's longer if you could stand there and complain.
No, it's only steep by the entrance. After 30 meters or so, the slope gets a lot more gentle.
Good girl.
I suppose there's nothing for it. I'll try to think of it as a nice leisure hike. I kill Bobotaro.
Oh my god!
Bobotaro! And then sling Makina's rucksack over my left shoulder, leaving our friend sitting in first gear in the middle of the road. The two of us step past the gate. Man, the ground's awfully crunchy. Oh god, we're in the forest where they died.
This looks familiar.
Things haven't changed much in my absence from the mountain. As always, the air's thick with the lusty cries of cicadas, but there's no sign of human presence. Other than squawking insects, the only sounds are the crunching of our feet against the gravel and weeds, and Makina's labored breathing, growing quicker and louder with every minute.
Whose stupid idea was this?
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
The girl can be surprisingly stubborn at times like these. She just wants to impress you. She wants to be cool to you. Probably an attempt to demonstrate she's not a helpless weakling who needs to be babied constantly. Still have to be sure to keep an eye on her, though, or she might end up collapsing to the ground and falling asleep on the spot.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Papa?
About what?
Is this a good place to fall asleep?
The person whose grave we're visiting, your master, what kind of person was she?
Well, let's see. Where do I even begin?
It's like a 36, 34, 35. I don't even know if that's a thing.
Come to think of it, although I've brought Asako up numerous times, I don't remember getting into the details of her measurements. I mean, nobody really seemed that interested. No, I guess it was just too awkward to ask. My master's name was Kusakabe Asako. We first met when I was 12 or 13 or so. She was a lot older than me, obviously. I'd lost my entire family a while before this. At the time, a friend of my dad's had taken me in, but... well, that family friend was what you'd call a bad guy. The kind of man who slips through the cracks in the law, profiting off misery and tearing money away from soft-hearted people.
I do that with old people.
The bad guy in question made some enemies off on the shadier side of our government, but of a little more than he could chew. They decided to bring the hammer down. The small assault force that invaded the villain's lair, mansion, and suppressed it in the blink of an eye was led by my master, Kusakabe Asuko.
I told him not to download that Metallica song off of Napster.
So the person who saved you from the bad guy when you were a kid became your master?
Yep, that's the basic outline.
Sounds like a lame-ass anime. So, were you living here with your master ever since?
Not constantly. We lived here for the first year or so, but I ended up getting shipped off to America fairly soon because of some circumstances with Asuko's employer.
San Diego, California, right?
Good memory.
Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart.
After that, it was Quantico in Virginia, but you ended up back in Japan eventually, I guess.
That's right. And in between all that, I lived with Atsuko. She's the one who helped me find the strength I needed to live. And the touch of a woman.
Right? Yeah.
So, in other words, just like you're a papa to me, your master was a mama to you?
No, maybe.
Don't think mommy quite covers it.
I said mama.
It works, though.
You made it weird.
If I had to categorize the woman, I'd say she was my master.
Mistress.
Mastress. But in the sense that she raised a cowardly, snot-nosed brat into a reasonably competent man, I guess you could say she was something like a mother.
Plus all the breastfeeding.
Kusakabe. I was trying to think of, like, some way to get her boobs into the picture. Kusakabe Asuko was the only person I'll ever call I have ever called master, and the only person I ever will.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
I was nothing but a filthy little cockroach she'd happened to carry home from her job one night. We weren't related, so that made the sex hotter. She had no obligation to do anything but flush me down the toilet, and instead she spent the rest of her life raising... The woman was a force of nature, infallible and unshakable. Even if she's gone, Asuko will always be the strongest woman in the world to me. Kusakabe. Just as I estimated, after about 30 minutes of trudging up the mountains, the forest around us begins to thin, and the rough dirt trail grows gentle and slope. As we reach an even plot of land that seems to have been cut neatly out of a natural plateau, a single log cabin comes into view beyond a chained-up metal gate. All right, Makina, we're here.
All right, time to leave. Looks clean.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. Too hot. I'ma die. Is that the house you grew up in, Papa?
Grew up in? Well, I guess you could say that. I mean, we just talked about this.
Yeah, it was only like a year or two.
And then we moved.
I left. I had to go to America.
Yeah, this is the house where I was raised. It's only been 2 months or so since I left, but the cabin's already under siege by thick wild grasses. The sight inspires a small twinge of melancholy. Tempted to start attacking those weeds right away, but I guess we should go in and rest for a while first.
I'll
Holy
fire
shit.
up the hot tub.
Do you know how to do that? Uh-oh! Inviting a girl back to your place. Are your intentions honorable, sir?
No. That's the move right there. Is you just like dead face like call them out on that because then they're like, I wish.
Right, when they playfully flirt, you just... Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Don't tee-hee-hee me, kid.
Puts the onus on them to be like, oh shit, okay, I guess I have to make a decision here.
Now I have to call up Amine, give her yet another scolding. Removing my keyring from the carabiner.
Lesbian.
What?
Lesbians always have carabiners.
Oh, I had been using...
Don't ask me why, I don't know. They just do, okay?
Fasten it to my belt. I select an old-fashioned key with a dull golden color. Push it into the equally old-fashioned keyhole on the oil-finished teak wood door and give it one rotation to the left.
I would kill for a Resident Evil door animation right now.
Yeah. The interior of the cabin, naturally enough, hasn't changed at all in the months since I saw it last. Even after I left, I'm pretty confident Jib kept up that melodramatic habit of dropping by for a solitary drink in memory of the departed. But although she's surprisingly averse to cleaning for someone with such an anal personality,
I wasn't talking about cleaning when I told you that.
it seems she wasn't quite lazy enough to leave her crumpled cans and potato chip wrappers lying around the place.
Oh, so this is the house you were raised in, huh? There's sort of, I don't know, more stuff than I expected. There's a lot of wood. You got a TV and all.
Yeah, I was kind of picturing the Kill Bill thing where, like, it's up in the mountain and it's the bearded man. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
No.
Okay, the second one is she's, like, being trained by, like, a kung fu master, and it's, like, up in the secluded cabin.
Yeah.
But it's literally just eating rice with, like, plain rice with chopsticks and
Yeah.
training.
Well, it's not like I was living on my own.
I had bitches up in here all the time.
Only partially paying attention to the conversation, I wander over to the fridge and reach for the handle. Still cold. Guess the electricity's still flowing. Want something to drink?
I've got Bud Light and Bud Light.
Might have been a hasty offer. Nothing but beer. Smoked cheese. What else do you need?
Right?
Naturally enough, I emptied out the fridge before leaving this cabin behind. What little we do have is clearly just leftovers from Jib's visits. Gotta go to the store, which involves another 30 minutes of walking.
Right.
And then I can only get what a motorcycle can carry. Other than the booze and snacks.
I could Postmates it, I guess, but they
Yeah.
never come all the way up the hill.
There's also 3 bottles of my favorite eye drops sitting on a lower shelf. Probably the woman's attempt at a thoughtful gesture in case I decided to return at some point. I retrieve 1 bottle of eye drops
And
from
drink
the
it.
fridge and glance over at Makina.
You want one?
Some? Hey, Makina, your eyes are big.
I've never seen you blink. You want some?
Yeah.
You want to moisten those things?
Catch.
Oh, my giant eye!
Whoa, what's this? Eye drops? Sniper's eyes are their life. Give that stuff a try. If you apply some to both eyes 30 minutes before shooting, stretch your ocular muscles, your focusing speed changes pretty dramatically. Let's see here. Gazing curiously at the bottle in her hand, Makina carefully breaks the seal and then leans her head back with mouth slightly ajar to apply the drops. 1 drop per eye is plenty. No need to blink too much either. Give it a second, and then start slowly moving your eyes in figure 8s. As her eyeballs begin to move back and forth underneath her lids, Makina's upper body sways along with them. Slowly open your eyes. Alternate between looking at something nearby and something far away. Helps get you focusing properly. That sounds too complicated.
Yeah, what are we shooting stuff, or what's the point of this?
Okay, something close. Something far. That's all there is to it. Just repeat this 4 times a day.
Ugh.
4 times? No thanks.
Yeah, pass. I'd just rather have terrible eyes.
Once, maybe. Morning, noon, evening, and before you go to bed. Are you still listening?
Can't I just eat carrots?
Hey, Papa, that photo.
Is that your penis?
I can see it clearly now. Makina's eyes, after focusing at random objects on the distant object, have stopped darting back and forth.
Nailed it.
She's staring at the middle of a small bookshelf where a single photograph of Asako and me as a kid stands in a frame. When I left this cabin behind, I deliberately flipped it face down in an attempt at symbolic closure, but now it's been returned to its original position. Damn it, Jip. Mind your own business. Is that person in the photo your master? Yep, that's right. I reach out and take the frame from the bookshelf. This is the one and only photograph of Asako remaining in this world. It was taken not long after she first took me in, the day she dragged me off to a zoo in Ueno on what seemed like a whim. Not really a photograph I want to show off, but I pass over the frame to Makina, who proceeds to intently contemplate the photo inside. Asako glowers at the camera, eyebrows furrowed in clear irritation. At her side, a younger me stares coldly at nothing in particular, eyes clouded but glittering with a venomous sheen. Got a pretty awful look on my face, right? At the time, I was just completely empty. Didn't give a damn about anything or anyone. Pretty much just a dead kid that forgot to stop breathing.
Yeah, they usually die.
I guess Asako got so fed up watching me that she decided to try her hand at babysitting. Not exactly her field of expertise, you understand. What happened to you? It's a long story, but crack open a beer and eat some cheese, and we got a long time up here in the cabin together. The abbreviated version is that my whole family died, and I was deeply involved in their deaths.
Was he? Did we ever learn what happened to his parents?
I don't really remember.
I mean, we know what happened to his sister, and I don't know how he was involved in that, but...
I was responsible, so I
couldn't just push the blame on someone else. That self-loathing was probably just too much for me to deal with. Wrapped myself up in a shell instead.
Oh.
But
What's that
thanks
like?
to Asako, I managed to get back on my feet somehow. She gave me, if not a reason to live, then at least an excuse not to die. I might seem almost too vigorous these days, but if I hadn't met Asako, if Asako hadn't taken me in, might as well have died. I might well have died a long time ago.
She saved your life?
Yep. And she went and died before I had a chance to repay the debt. Unbelievable, right?
What a bitch. No, that's sad.
That's not how I felt about it, actually. I didn't really mourn when Asako passed.
You're a bitch.
I'd been prepared for the possibility she might die at any time, but for some reason I still had a hard time believing she was actually gone.
He just starts like blubbering, like super like loud crying. "Oh, I've never thought about it.
I guess there was a part of me that couldn't accept that monster of a woman was really dead. If there was one word that described Asako, it was ridiculous. Not a shred of common sense in her body. She was a bull of a woman, and the world was her personal china shop. And to me, she was something of a god, like a god or a devil, maybe both.
A devil? A god? Either way. Sounds like she was a pretty amazing person.
Okay, here's a story. This actually happened the same day that picture was taken. Is it gonna do like a...
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to see if there's a transition?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. Well, we're gonna read the story of his past next time.
Yeah. And then they're gonna sleep here and something.
Yeah, wait, how long are they here? What are they doing here? Exactly?
They're here to clean that grave.
That's right, okay. But they'll probably spend a couple days here?
I doubt a couple days, but they're definitely spending the night here.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that, like, she's not gonna want to walk back down or whatever, or the motorcycle won't start.
Yeah, right. So he'll have to go to town and...
Yeah, something's gonna keep them there. And then they'll do the do, I imagine.
You think? You think they're in that spot already?
I think the game is there. I don't know if they are, but the game is.
It feels like it's slowly developing something, like he's maturing her first.
Yeah, but they had to be alone first. And
Yeah,
now
that's
they're not
true.
really
They are
doing,
alone now in a cabin in the woods.
They're not really doing the father-daughter thing anymore. Now it's like the master pupil that he had with Asako.
Yeah, I guess.
So once that's firmly established after the story's done, then then it's not incestuous or wrong or anything, right? Not that they would need to wait for that anyway. It's a fucking anime game.
Right.